Mercuria. O Mercuria, thou unkempt diamond, of capital thou art, by truth the fairest. Thy counsel many seek, for knowledge, kept within centuries sought and gathered, by men wiser than the ages, brought hither by word of mouth. Mercuria, changed thou now the course of war, between thine people, diplomat, wise man, magician, all this and more. Thou hast without equal the mark of merit and virtue, written by Jeremy Uthern the poet. The august capital of Iridy, the unified country, Mercuria lies on the hardy southern coast of the Northlands, halfway between Tyre and Coruscant. People want to say Coruscant. It is a port of call for merchants, traders, adventurers, and pilgrims from all four continents. A place of commerce and diplomacy for millions of humans and other species. Iridy, a strong and proud land, perched between the plains of Nerida to the north and the lands of Tyrone to the west, and the great sea to the south, and the forests of the Northlands to the east, and inhabited by humans. Dulmari, Tyrone, Mole People, and Veneer. Iridy was formed after Mercury emerged as a major center for diplomacy and trade, and became the banner under which the surrounding lands united as one. Iridy is a democracy, currently led by the Chief Council of the Iridy flag, Lord Egavan Dillon. The High Council, composed by the ministers who govern the representation, resides in the Mercurian Hall of Assembly, flanked by the palace and the barracks. The Iridis are traditionalists, and their form of government has barely changed over the last few millennia. In High Tongue, Irid means unification or assembly. Mercuria is one of the largest cities of Arcadia, capital of Irid, and a center for trade, diplomacy, and cultural diversity. Populated by a large variety of races, from human to Veneer, Mercuria has grown from its origins as the birthplace of humanity to a city of all Arcadians, and the hub of the civilized world. Founded 20,000 years ago at the shore of the then unconquerable ocean, it is the first known permanent settlement of the emerging human race. Initially left to its own devices by a more developed races, Mercuria grew large and fat and wealthy. With newfound confidence, it passed through a period of expansion, which gained it a reputation as a merciless aggressor, which soon brought violent attention from the Tyrant in the west and the Domari in the north. After years of war, Mercuria was decimated and subsequently rebuilt with sufficient reinforcements to weather attacks from both sea and land. Peaceful times followed, whereupon Mercuria settled into its role it has in today's Arcadia. Although all surrounding areas fall under its jurisdiction, there is sufficient self-governing and few central taxes to appease all but the most disgruntled. The huge areas of farmland around the city benefit from the well-kept roads, markets, and the busy export to other lands. Nearby villages benefit from the military might of Mercuria, protecting them against roving barbarians and tyrant armies. And Mercuria also provides the people of the Northlands with one of the best and busiest ports in Arcadia, allowing travel to distant destinations around the world.
Are you done? Let me take...
A lot to take in about Mercuria. But like I said, such a rich, vibrant history.
Could I see ocean?
I'd like to read some Arcadian folktales.
A favorite topic of mine. I have just what you're looking for.
Move faster. Convenient that they have all the books April is looking for in the same place.
I did find...
Cedra, the faithful wife. Cedra was married to a brute of a man named Kare. He was a bully who drank, cursed, gambled, and beat up his wife when he'd lost coins at the cups table. Still, Cedra treated Kare with respect and care. She fed him when he was hungry. She made his bed and washed his back, and she lay down with him when he told her to. She never complained of her hardships to anyone, even though some days she woke up with bruises all over her body. Despite her husband's treatment, Cedra was a beautiful woman with lovely dark hair and green eyes, and men would admire her when she went to the market for food or the town for water, but none dared approach her, fearing for her dangerous husband more than they admired her beauty and grace. People would say, "Poor Cedra, she deserves better than what she has. She is so good and patient," even though her husband mistreats her every day. But no one was willing to do anything to free her from her husband, as they all feared his wrath. "She chooses her own path," they would say, "and it is not our duty to interfere." Then one day, a tall and handsome prince rode into town to visit with the elder consort. When he spotted Cedra carrying 2 heavy buckets from the well to her home at the edge of town, he was taken in with her beauty and youth, and he jumped down from his horse to help her carry her buckets home. On the way, he offered Cedra courtship, but when told she was already married, he bowed respectfully and excused himself for acting inappropriate. That night, Cedra's husband heard about the prince helping his wife for letting royally interfere with her duties. He strode drunkenly, for he had already had his usual fill of dark ale, towards the tavern where the prince and his cohorts were staying. When Kare arrived at the tavern, the prince was eating dinner. When told Cedra's husband was there to see him, the prince stood and waved the man closer. "I must congratulate you on your good taste in marriage," said the prince, "for your wife is the most beautiful and good-hearted woman I have ever met." And then he offered Kare a tall seat and a tall mug of ale, but the angry husband did not appreciate the prince's advances, and he drew his sword and lunged at the prince before his guards could react. The prince was quick and lucky to avoid certain death, and before Kare could make a second strike, the prince had recovered his sword from where it stood by the wall, still ready to fight the brute. "Leave him be," called the prince when the guards drew arms and ran to protect their liege. "This is between him and me." Smiling briefly, he nodded his head to Kare, and stood to attention. Obviously, his skill with the sword was formidable. Kare, a coward at heart, knew that if he fought fairly, he would surely die, and he sheathed his sword, but loosened the knife he had tucked up under his long sleeve. "My pardon, Prince," said Kare. "My love for my wife is such that I am blinded by jealousy. I offer you friendship and apologies." He extended an open hand to the prince and smiled a broad lizard smile. The prince, unaware of Kare's mistreatment of his faithful wife, smiled back, put down his sword, and extended his own hand. "Your apology is accepted, sir." Then suddenly, Kare's knife was in his hand and moving in a blur towards the prince's exposed throat. Had it not been for the quick eye of a nearby guard, who with the broadside of his sword struck Kare on the side of his head, the prince would have been dead. The knife carved a deep scar on the prince's shoulder, but did no serious harm. And Kare was taken away to the town prison to be judged when the sun rose. His crime was surely punishable by death, especially if his son Cedra would testify to his cruelty in front of the judge. He gave Kare's tomb, but time now spoke of Cedra's suffering by her husband's hand. But Cedra would not herself, even now, speak against her husband. Instead of being sentenced to death, Kare was sent away to work the king's mine for 25 years. Taken with her faithfulness, the prince yet again offered Cedra courtship. But again Cedra declined, for she was still a married woman. Then 1 year later, Kare attempted to escape the king's mines by killing 2 guards and climbing the walls, but he was shot down with an arrow and died in agony and disgrace. Again, the prince visited Cedra's town, bringing condolences and a renewed offer of courtship, and this time Cedra agreed. Months later, the prince and Cedra were married in a glorious ceremony. And when the old king died, the prince became regent, and Cedra his queen. She was as good a queen as the land had ever seen, and she was loved dearly until the day she died. And her funeral was the grandest and most tearful in memory. Children of the Lake. There was a village by a lake where no couple had borne a child for 20 years. The villagers were desperate, for without children their village would wither and die. They turned to their God for help. The next morning, 50 young children rose out of the misty lake and wandered to the shores, much to the joy of the childless women. "You are yours," said one of the children, "as long as you remember one thing. You are never to fish from this lake again. Instead, you must learn to hunt in the forest and live off the land." Though the villagers agreed, though they worried they might go hungry since they were used to catching and eating fish by the lake. But it didn't take long before they taught themselves to hunt and grow wheat and potatoes in the field. 18 years passed, and one day an old man grew tired of rabbits and deer and potatoes and bread. He longed to catch a big fish and cook it over a sizzling fire. He took his boat out to where the villagers would not see him, and he sank his line. Almost immediately he caught a large trout, but as he was rowing back to shore, he saw the children of the lake wander from their homes into the dark waters whence they came. The mothers called for them, but tried to hold on to them, begged them not to leave, but they would not speak, and one by one they disappeared into the lake. The old fisherman then saw how they turned into large fish and sped off into the deep. He was ashamed for them and dropped his catch back in the water. But it was too late, and the village would forevermore remain childless.
Are you done?
I think that's all the books. But let me double check that.
Could I see?
Oh, shit.
I'd like to.
I don't know if we get more or if we get the same ones. I'll test it out with this one first.
I did fight.
No, it's all the
Are
same.
you done?
But those are two interesting folklores. Okay, I believe that makes it all. I believe that is all of the ones that we can read. Yeah, when I was looking at my stuff for this earlier, we will be using this later on, not right now, but later on. It's a big part of the whatchamacallit, the game. Okay, let's continue on. Because I believe that we have some new information. I think we talked to this guy first.
Hello. Do you know the island of Elias?
The vacation paradise of the ancient Dalmari? Certainly.
How do I get there?
It's near the Briston Atoll, but boats rarely travel directly to Briston from Marcuria. You'd have to travel via Guyenne.
Can you give me a lift to Guyenne on your ship?
There are 3 problems with that scenario. Number 1, there's no wind, so we can't set sail south. Number 2, I lost my navigator a few weeks past, and I have yet to find his replacement. And number 3, you're a woman. We don't let women on board the White Dragon.
Isn't that a bit sexist?
Sexy is just what I worry about. What with a boat full of men being out at sea for months at a time?
Not sexy, sexist.
I'm a sailor, girl. What do you expect? Good bedside manners?
I'd really appreciate it if I could hitch a ride with you to Guyenne.
Ain't gonna happen. Sorry.
Bye.
Alright. Well, that's one problem we have a possible solution for. But where are we going to get a navigator? Well, let's head to the inn, shall we? back inside the city. The end. Handsome farm boy, young girl.
Excuse me?
Yeah?
Do you know when Tunlayak is expected back?
I could not tell you, child, but from what I...
Thank you,
You're welcome.
Maybe it's not here next. Because I know what we have to do. No, not here. Let's go to the marketplace. I don't know if we can get our bird yet or not.
That's the guy in charge of the Cups game. It's a talking bird.
Have I made up my
Still
mind?
interested in it?
Which prize?
I haven't.
Very well.
Can't choose yet. Okay. Now watch as he turns away from us and turns back to us.
Are you busy?
Nope, yep, nope.
I'm never too busy for you.
Thank you.
Good date.
Okay, nothing new there. I don't think the small pier has anything more. I'm running! Running. Alright.
Hello again, old man.
Get the pipe ready.
Do you know how I can get passage on a boat going south?
Aye, coin be the way, as me beloved wife always be saying. 'Cause she'd be running off with a wealthy merchant while I be away at sea. Women never trusted one I didn't pay for again.
I don't have much coin at all.